Okay, you're listening to Lagos Talks. This is 91.3. Check your time right now. Yes, it is that time of the week we get to bring in an expert in the corporate world. And a lot of times we bring in those who are specifically somehow linked with the helms when it comes to different sectors of business and workplace and lifestyle, and even human resource management on The Office. This evening on The Office, of course, you know The Office is proudly brought to you by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, and Lagos Talks 91.3. And this evening, we're going to talk about learning. Some say, a lot of people say that learning is, you know, always, it's in perpetuity, at least until while you breathe. It's something that keeps on going on. So learning and development in the now of work. And our guest this evening is someone with quite a basket of certifications. She is Comfort Coleman, MCIPM. And I welcome her this evening. It's good to have you join us, ma'am.
Thank you very much for welcoming me. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Of course, definitely. We're going to try as much as possible to maximize the time because we have a lot of questions for you. And once again, you're welcome to Lagos Talks 91.3 and welcome to the office. Quickly, just to introduce who our expert is this evening, like I said, she is Comfort Coleman, MCIPM. She is someone of huge repute as far as certifications are concerned, a managing consultant, NEKEGO Resources Limited, and she is a multi-dimensional, multi-talented, and multi-functional professional, and of course, an experienced leadership and skilled communications trainer. She is also a soft skills trainer who has been involved in helping organizations develop their leaders. Now, she is certified, as a matter of fact, certified Clarity 4D trainer, a certified DISC trainer, and a certified ethics officer. She is a certified International Finance Corporation, IFC, and Financial Institution Training Center, that's a FITC corporate governance trainer. She was a senior editor with the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, and then the chief operating officer for Poise Nigeria Limited. Thereafter, she became the general manager at Skills Farm Limited, a position which required her to interact with trade partners from across the world. Comfort, our guest this evening, has a master's in managerial psychology and an MSc in mass communications from the University of Lagos. She has a combined first degree in psychology, sociology, and mass communication. She is in the managing consultant of NEKEGO Resources Limited with 40 years of work experience and has won awards. She is Comfort and she's MCIPM as well, which is very impressive. This is quite something. So I'm going to try as much as possible to maximize this time because I've seen your profile and this is quite something. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. So today on the program, learning and development in the now of work. I'm very interested in this because we share disciplines. Apart from the fact that I work in this space, I also have history in sociology as well. So it's good to have you join us once again.
Thank you.
All right, so quick one now. Let me even just ask, I mean, this is Nigeria. I want to quickly know how your week has been so far in the workplace and living generally. I want to know how you've been coping and how you've been impacting the lives of leaders, even in this time in Nigeria.
Yes, actually just jumped off a meeting to attend this radio program because I'd committed myself, and I'm going to be going back to that board meeting. It's been interesting. I like to put a positive spin on things. I am the cup is a half full kind of a person. So I believe that as long as we're alive and as long as we're willing, possibilities abound. So if the mind of our eyes can see it, then we can achieve it. So it starts from the mindset. Difficulties provide opportunities. Challenging situations provide opportunities. Yes, is it a challenging environment? It is challenging, but the best of the humankind comes out in challenging situations because we're forced to become creative and imaginative solving the problem. And if we apply ourselves to those things, we overcome and conquer. And that's what we are focused on, helping the leaders to see the opportunities that exist, challenging situations, and how to lead their people through these challenges to come out better. And at the base of it is technology and innovativeness and creativity.
Okay. All right. So let's delve into the crux of the discussion this evening, and it's about learning and development, or in the corporate world, it's shortened to L&D. So give us a quick rundown of what L&D means. What is the concept of learning and development from your own perspective?
Okay, long and short of it, as the name implies, learning and development is a continuous process of encouraging professional development of workers, employees, staff members. And it starts with analyzing skills gap. It starts actually with the strategy of where the organization wants to go to. What do you want? Where do you want to go to? What do you want to achieve? What kind of people do you need to achieve those things you want to achieve? Then where are you now? What kind of gap exists? Okay, I give you an example. If, for instance, you want to expand, across West Africa or across Africa, you're going to be looking for people have knowledge of the culture of the places you want to go to. You're going to look for people who have certain language skills. You're going to look for, excuse me, some people who have certain technological skills. So the people you have now, if they do not have all of those things, then you need to bridge the gap. You need to expose them to those things. They have to either learn new languages or they have to go for cultural diversity training where they learn to interact with those places you want to expand to. So there's a process of analyzing to discover the skills gap in your business and then design programs that will empower your employees with those specific knowledge and skills that will drive performance. At the end of the day, you want to do better than you're doing. You want your people to be productive. You want them to be high performers. And to be able to be high performers, you need certain competencies, you need certain skills, you need certain knowledge, you need certain behavioral competencies also able to do this. So that's what the learning and development function does. It looks at the people, where they are, what they need to get to where they want to go to, and then develops the kind of programs that will take them to that long and short of it.
All right, interesting, because you spoke about analyzing skills gaps, and I mean, tech is moving faster than the human race can even catch up on. And along the line, I mean, you're an expert in this field. From time to time, you begin to reanalyze and you begin to even ask yourself questions. I hope what I thought them yesterday is still enough tool for them to compete in this fast-paced world. Now, you spoke about the skills gaps. What are the specific activities involved in learning and development administration? From someone who is a facilitator now, what are the specific activities involved in this?
Okay, there are so many things involved. So there are different levels of gaps. You have professional gaps, maybe technical knowledge and issues. You have organizational capacity. You have personal capacity, having to do with your character and your attitude and your behavior and things like that. So some of the things that the L&D function does is to either do on-the-job training for the people. That is hands-on. We call it kinesthetic. You are able to learn how to do something by actually doing it. It's one way. Another one is by job shadowing. And maybe you have a succession plan, CEO is leaving, and you have an executive director that is taking over from the CEO. So the executive director follows the CEO about. You create a program where the executive director follows the CEO around, attends meeting. It's like somebody who wants to learn hands-on sales and marketing. So you have a guru, a sales and marketing guru. Somebody will follow them around, listen to how they make cheese, listen to how they interact with. And so you're not going to be exactly the person, but it gives you an idea of how to convince people. The other one is managing the time, because there are always deadlines in things that are done. So learning and development helps to manage time. Also personal development in terms of who do you want to become, what do you want to do, where is your career going. Also mentoring people into who they want to become, and of course coaching them. So all these things are geared towards filling those gaps that we talked about earlier, and finding solutions for workplace issues.
Okay. All right. We're going to go on a quick break now. And when we come back, I have a question about the impact that this has on the long run in organization. So I'd allow you gather your thoughts on that. I know you have a question right away. You have an answer right away, but we'll go on this break. When we come back, we're going to pick your brains more this evening on The Office. You're listening to Lagos Talks. This is 91.3, and this is also The Office. Stay with us.
By the way, I didn't get your name.
Okay, welcome back from that break. You're still listening to The Office this evening on the live drive, and I am still here with Comfort Coleman, MCIPM, and we have been discussing learning and development. Before I went on that break, I did mention that I was going to push a question across to her about the impact all of this has on the bottom line of, well, talking about the goals of an organization. I know for a fact that a lot of your colleagues push that employees have aligned goals with the organization's objectives as well. There have to be some sort of connection or nexus created. So tell us about the impact that learning and development has on the goals and the organization's bottom line generally.
Okay, I'm going to pivot a bit back to the previous question I was talking about, the activities of the L&D before I conclude this answer. And that is part of what the L&D does, is to onboard new hires, teach them how things are done and organizational culture, succession planning. And some of these functions overlap with the HR functions, including performance management. So learning cultures, learning organizations impact all areas of business in answering your question, from increasing the productivity of the staff to retaining your talents, those people who ensure that money comes into your organization. It is how, the the kind of learning and opportunities that they are exposed to will determine how well you do as an organization. In fact, a recent IBM study focusing on the value of employee training showed that 84% of employees within the best performing organizations are receiving training they need compared to the 16% in the worst performing organizations. And moreover, what else did they find out? That every dollar, every amount of money, can convert it to Naira, spent on training, got a $4.53 return, generating a return on investment of 353%. So that is how powerful training is. The learning and development function is to the bottom line of the organization. Okay? Once the learning and development is aligned to the goals of the people and the goals of the organization and the performance of the organization, you discover that those skills gap are able to close those things, and people are able to develop and deliver the kind of returns that the organization will be happy about. Long and short of it, bottom line. The L&D functions help attract and retain top talents within the organization. It helps to develop and nurture future leaders and improves the performance and productivity of employees. And these are the things that drive the bottom line of the organization. So definitely has a huge impact on bottom line of.
Okay, so I have a question for you, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, we talk about learning and development, training and retraining, even from an HR perspective. What would you say about Nigerian entrepreneurs or employers of labor who sort of have this notion, this very funny notion that I don't want to do too much in training this person. If the person drops his resignation the next day, it means I'm at a loss. What would you say about that? And have you experienced some such situations during your time professionally?
Yes, sometimes, when situations are tough, when the situation is challenging, you often hear people say, oh, the first thing that should go is training. Unfortunately, that's a myth. That's a fallacy. Because if you are afraid of training your people because they are going to go, imagine working with untrained people. You are going to become a dinosaur. You're going to become extinct. So rather than being afraid of spending money on people who will go, consider it also that there are some other intangibles you are contributing to society. You will have extracted some benefit from those people before they leave and they go somewhere else. So don't be afraid of training people, because the first beneficiary is your organization. It is when they begin to put to practice those things they have learned, they become attractive to other people. So there is a situation of continual training. There has to be continuous training. You can't say, I've trained these people, so I go to bed. Because every day is bringing new challenges. We live in a VUCA world. What is VUCA? It's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, it's ambiguous. So things are changing rapidly. When you were introducing, you were talking about technology that, human being being unable to keep tab with changing level of things. If you choose not to train your people, you will not be competitive. You will take away your own competitive advantage by refusing to train your people. So, yes, some people will go, and that's why you also have to look at retention strategies, because talents go where they are valued. So train them, but also create other engagement opportunities for them to feel a sense of community where they were. There's no reason why they want to go. So there are other things in.
Okay, so we're going to go on another break. Then I have a question about the pandemic. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to allow you cook that. So go and come back and hear from you. You're listening to Lagos Talks. This is 91.3, and this is The Office. Okay, welcome back. You're listening to Lagos Talks. This is 91.3. My name is Kola Wale Falodu, and I'm still here with Comfort Coleman, MCIPM, and Managing Consultant, NEKEGO Resources Limited, and we have been talking about learning and development. I asked her to help us cook something because I'm very interested in her response. I mean, 2020 was a year we thought was going to be in perpetuity, like we're going to have a period in our lives when we're never going to experience what we experienced prior to that year. And that year changed the way we worked. And a lot of people had to adjust themselves. Some had to now move in certain directions where they thought, okay, going forward, I think this was a good learning curve. Let's just stick to that. So that now created a new frontier, a new situation where we now refer to this as the now of doing business, the now of work. So tell us about L&D during the pandemic year and how that has shaped the way L&D works, in the successive years.
Yes, a lot of changes have taken place over the years. 2020, like you said, was a defining year. And unfortunately, many people fell off the wagon because they were not able to embrace the new normal, the now. Okay? So L&D people have evolved from being experts to facilitators and now curators of learning experiences. So we have technology now, you have virtual training, don't have to travel most times. You have blended learning where you have both. You have you still have the traditional instructor-led training, but you also have learning at a click of a button. You can go online. So the digital space is very, very active, and there are so many tools that are there. So the L&D has had to retool, and there's also more gamification in the things that are being done online to ensure engagement, so that people don't just log into a training and then ghost whoever is taking the training. So there are ways in which people are being engaged and all of that. So there's also tailored training, and I've talked about the learning management system. That one has really gained ground right now. Okay, and there's also a focus on soft skills, because after some time of people at home, they tend to forget how to interact with other human
Actually,
beings.
that was something. People forgot how to interact with their colleagues, People working remotely had to cope with all of that. It was an interesting time, I must say.
Honestly. So there's constant reskilling, upskilling, and then AI has also come in to help with a lot of things. So now there's no excuse why you can't learn. There are so many platforms and so many opportunities for you to learn, and that is led by the L&D function to ensure that the people are continuously updated, their knowledge is updated, their technical competence is updated, and all of that.
Okay, we need to wrap up right now, but let me get a few things again from you. Managers now, we spoke about entrepreneurs and employers of labor. What do you think managers now how can they arm themselves with relevant information on, L&D generally, and how, keeping up with the trends to help them make informed decisions within the organization? How can managers now arm themselves?
They have the CIPM there. That's what the CIPM is for.
Okay.
It's a professional body, for the HR space. So they can engage with the CIPM, and you can go to www.cipmnigeria.org. If you need information, there are programs, ones that are paid and the ones that are free. Various development programs are both paid and free, conducted by CIPM, and can always go to the website. And CIPM has a rich library, a very rich library of both digital and hard copies that you can pick up materials from. Now it is, are you willing to learn and grow? If you are willing to learn, the resources are there and available.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Comfort Coleman, MCIPM. I could have gone on and on, but our time is very limited. I want to, learn a few things, and but thank you for your time this evening on some of these areas that I've been able to navigate us through learning and development in the now of work. 2023 is looking like a promising year as far as the of the economics of the world is concerned, and that also, of course, in a way affects the way we work and business generally. We're hoping to see things get better, but also we're hoping to see better managers who handle employees in 2023. But thank you very much for your time, Comfort Coleman. We look forward to having you at some other time.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Enjoy the rest of the day.
And you too. And you too. Have a good evening.
Good evening to you too. Bye.
Okay. All right. So, well, that's it on. Well,